This is the last time before the money's in the bank.
Hi, I-25 movie recapped here. Today, I will recap a movie called Wild Things 2. Wild Things 2 is a 2004 American thriller sex drama film. This film tells the story of two high school girls who making love with a handsome doctor. They are doing threesome making love guys. They do that in order to get $70 million. Do they manage to get that much money? This film has an unexpected plot twist ending. Okay, what's the continuation of the story? Batten down the hatches because we are going in hard. This is a spoiler content video. Enjoy the video and let's start the story. The film begins by showing a beautiful girl named Brittany who is throwing flowers in the swamp to commemorate the body of her mother who committed suicide in the swamp. But her mother's body has not been found until now because it is suspected that her body had been eaten by alligators. Currently, Brittany lives with her stepfather who is rich. She often holds parties. One day, suddenly her stepfather comes home and sees a photo of Brittany's mother that has been crossed out. Her stepfather also says, "Mother and daughter are the same, they are trash." Of course, Brittany is very sad to hear that word. That night, Brittany also sees her stepfather beaten by an executioner who collects his gambling debt. But when Brittany approaches her stepfather, the executioner has already left. The next day, Brittany's stepfather goes on his private plane, but suddenly the plane breaks down and crashes. Brittany is called by her teacher and is told that her stepfather had just died in a plane crash. An investigation is carried out to find out the cause of the plane crash. It turns out that several dead rats are found. It is suspected that these rats had bitten the cables on the plane. A man who is an insurance agent named Terrence is suspicious of this plane crash, so he takes the rats to animal researchers. Apparently he finds that the rats are deliberately placed by someone to harm Brittany's stepfather. Terrence tells his suspicions to Detective Morrison. He then goes to see Brittany and says that there were rats on your stepfather's plane. Is there someone you suspect? Brittany then shows CCTV footage of when her stepfather was beaten by the executioner. So the executioner becomes a fugitive from the police now. The next day, Brittany is informed of her stepfather's will that Brittany only receives $25,000 annually until she is 30 years old. Actually, Brittany's stepfather has assets of $70 million, but these assets can be dispersed if it is found a family who is related to Brittany's stepfather. Then the word spreads that the richest man in Florida has died and is now looking for a blood heir. Because of this news, a poor high school student named Maya who is also Brittany's schoolmate appears, but they are against each other. Maya admits that she is the daughter of Brittany's stepfather, where at that time Maya's mother who is a paid woman was pregnant and then left by Brittany's stepfather. So in order to avoid a debate, the judge orders Maya to do a DNA test with Brittany's stepfather's DNA. At the hospital, there is a handsome doctor named Julian who is going to do the DNA test. Suddenly Terrence comes and they get acquainted. Terrence wants the DNA test results to be given to him first. That night, Brittany is visited by the executioner who asks his stepfather's debt to be repaid, otherwise Brittany will be killed. The next day, the judge decides that from the DNA test results, it could be stated that Maya is the official heir of Brittany's stepfather, because their DNA match 100%. But at night, Brittany doesn't look sad at all. Instead she is happy because the executioner who threatening her has been arrested by the police. Apparently when Brittany wants to drink, suddenly Maya comes. The two of them then kiss. And suddenly Julian the doctor also comes. It turns out that Julian helped them falsify the DNA test result. In fact, there is no blood relationship at all between Maya and Brittany's stepfather. Finally, the girls become horny, so they force the doctor to stab their bottom caves, because he is the only one who has a huge carrot. Finally, they are doing a threesome making love. The next day, Brittany goes to the swamp where her mother committed suicide. Suddenly Terrence comes to her. He also reveals all his suspicions that Brittany has planned all this with Maya and Dr. Julian. She is very panicked and then goes to meet Maya, but Maya manages to calm her down by wiggling her bottom cave in the library. They are doing a lesbian making love. At the hospital, Dr. Julian is also visited by Terrence. Terrence then reveals all his suspicions that Dr. Julian falsified the results of the DNA test. Dr. Julian is very panicked now, and then he goes to Maya's house and says that their plan has been discovered. but Maya manages to calm her down by sucking Dr. Julian's carrot to satisfaction. The next day, Maya officially becomes the heir to Brittany's stepfather's fortune of $70 million.
$70 million! 70 fucking million dollars! Yes!
Then Maya calls Brittany to meet at their secret place. When Brittany gets there, there is no one at all. And suddenly, Brittany is very scared because their plan has been exposed due to Dr. Julian, so Maya wants to kill him. But Julian manages to catch Brittany and strangles her. But suddenly Maya comes who shooting him died on the spot. Then they both dump Dr. Julian's body into the swamp where Brittany's mother committed suicide, so that Dr. Julian's body is eaten by an alligator and disappeared. But before they have time to throw it away, a police car suddenly arrives. But Maya manages to seduce the old policeman. So Brittany also manages to throw Dr. Julian's body into the swamp. On the other hand, Terrence manages to get the home address of Dr. Julian and then he goes to his house. But when he wants to go there, suddenly Brittany comes, who has just finished dumping Dr. Julian's body. Then Terrence checks the car and realizes that the car has entered the swamp. The next day, Terrence tells Detective Morrison that Brittany and Maya dumped Dr. Julian's body into the swamp, but the police has been looking for the body in the swamp all day and finds nothing. Terrence is finally fired from his job for making a false report. Of course, Terrence does not want to give up. He has lost his job and his pride. He also ventures to go down to the swamp and manages to find Dr. Julian's shirt, which is already full of blood. That night, Maya goes to pick up Brittany to escape from the city. But apparently they can't escape. Terrence is already at Brittany's house first. Terrence then asks for half of the money as collateral, so that he will not report to the police. Of course, Brittany refuses to give the money, while Maya chooses to agree to share the money, so Brittany goes to get a gun and threatens Terrence. But when Brittany tries to shoot him, she accidentally kills Maya. Brittany then says, "I killed Maya, so you can get her share of the money." Wow, mind-blowing. They then put Maya's body in the trunk of her car and go to throw it away. But when they stop at a traffic light, Terrence panics because there is a policeman behind his car, while Brittany gets out of the car and goes to a payphone to call the police that there is a body in the trunk of the car Terrence is carrying. Terrence falls into Brittany's trap and is immediately arrested. Brittany then flies on her private plane with the $70 million. And it turns out that there is Brittany's stepfather who is still alive, so Brittany's stepfather deliberately faked his death to avoid being sued for corrupting millions of dollars in company funds to pay off his gambling debts, so that bad news didn't spread. He then faked his death, so he could sell the company quickly without reducing the value of his company. Brittany then gives a parachute to her stepfather, so she plans to fake her death too and blows up the plane. But when her stepfather is ready to jump, she immediately pushes him. When her stepfather takes off his parachute, it turns out to be just a newspaper. His stepfather is really dead now. Meanwhile, Brittany manages to land safely in the swamp, and it turns out that Brittany's mother is still alive, so Brittany and her mother have planned this all to get her stepfather's wealth. At the end of the film, they relax in the sun. Brittany brings a drink for her mother. It seems that the drink that is given to her mother contains poison, so her mother dies. Finally, Brittany is the one who wins and gets the $70 million, and the movie Wild Things 2 2004 ends. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoy it. Please give me thumbs up and click the subscribe button. See you on another video.